that lap will not be ruined. You know, if you have an 8000 that you contaminate, you can make it into a, 325. So just keep it and make it into a rougher grit. Other than that, I think that's a little bit of the small talk. I use one of these when I'm not sitting here at the desk, which is most of the time. Hooks onto my ear, helps me see things. Of course, I use reading glasses. I have a pocket knife, measuring stuff. This lap holder is pretty neat. It's actually, I think, a cheese slicer, an antique cheese slicer. It had a wire that come down and went through each one of these. But I saw it and said, well, that's going to be my lap holder. Other than that, alright. Like I said, we've already come to the point where that's pretty much done. Definitely done for what we're doing in this video. Not perfect. I mean, you should certainly go to maybe a finer grit, 14, 50. But we're not going to today. So next step is to turn this thing around. Everything's still safe here. Should I feel like I need to get this back in there, this is still correct with respect to all the facets on here. But in a second, we're going to lose everything. Now it's done. We've just lost everything. That's okay, we can find it again. I'm going to bring back in here the candle. Try to keep my arm out of the way here. Get my lighter out. I'm getting a little more messy here, it looks like. Get this thing fired up. You know, this is probably means nothing, but I used a candle that had some coloring in it, and it didn't work nearly as well. It was actually difficult compared to a white candle that has no coloring, I guess. That's the only thing I can attribute it to.
Like I said, it may not have anything to do with the candle.
Let's get it operated.
I just know I switched out
Notice
the
a lot of
candle
times
and
I still
problem
have
went away.
old wax on there. I don't suppose you're supposed to do that. Hasn't caused me any grief yet. Let's get this thing, get some fresh wax on there. This one is actually a cone. It has a space for the pavilion to push into. The last one was a flat one. Let's get some... This is actually one of your more difficult parts here, at least in my opinion. Makes me nervous to switch to stone. Now, of course, I'm showing you using black wax. Now, I don't want to get too much on there. Some people use glue, some people use epoxy. I'm going to keep using wax. I've actually used super glue. I'm still trying to find the best kind. I've seen some on the internet. Like I say, there's room for that point to go down in there. Now what I do want to do, I'm going to zoom this in just a tad. What I do want to do here is I want to try to keep my girdle clean, at least in a few spots, so I can relocate when I get this thing turned around. So that's why I don't put a ton of wax on there when I'm flipping it around. Let's get this thing ready. Quit talking. Just like that.
I just want to mention, I don't use one of those alcohol lamps.
This rubber band, my second
It
one.
seems like the
one I
flame's
got
too
laying
big and it's
here
hard to
has
control.
a little bit to be
That's
desired.
why I use a candle.
It works. Okay. Now I want to try not to heat up the wax that's holding the stone in place right now because I don't want it to teeter. It needs to go onto that other one straight. So that's where you got to be a little careful here. I'm going to set this up about right. Now I'm going to heat this side up that I just added the wax to soften it up so I can push this into. Okay, good and soft, push it together. There we go. Now here's where it gets a little difficult. You don't want to overheat it and melt the hard wax on that's holding the stone on straight. So you want to heat the other side. You still got to get it to flow. If you get a
I meant to say a cold
it's just
joint.
cold, it's gonna cause you grief. There, that one went. There, she went all the way around there. Now I still got to be careful until that hardens up. My other side softened, I can see it. I'm pushing it together, trying to keep her in place. I need that candle yet, so I'm going to leave her lit. A lot of people just heat up this other side to remove it, but I don't do that. Fortunately, this is taking a little more time than the video needs to show, but
some people use glue and epoxy because some stones are rough as heat sensitive. You're just going to have to learn which ones are, and there's information out there telling you that.
Alright, we're going to try that. Now here's why I use this candle. Feels pretty sturdy. Now I heat up a knife. I don't like to heat up the other side because, you know, I've lost several nice stones because I've moved it on the dopstick once I tried to transfer. So I just kind of peel it away. You know, you heat this up, it just peels away like, you know, hot butter or whatever. So it's not that difficult. Peel it away, and pretty soon she'll just release. And then you don't mess with the other side too much. There it went. Not bad. So, I have it transferred. Wasn't too bad. Didn't take that long. It's still the most difficult thing to me because nothing's more disappointing than losing it on the transfer. But it's pretty easy. You might be all thumbs the first time, but you'll do okay after a while. I have some of these facets on the edge free from wax, so I'll use them to locate with. I have some wax on the top here that I could just chip off, get it out of the way, rather than getting it all over my my laps.
I just wanted to say, notice through this whole process, I'm trying to just stay relaxed. There's nothing magic in this whole thing. You just take your time and relax.